I've come to Ezekiel Kralen's story, the weekly installment of the story about the two little dogs and the legal troubles and resolution of the legal troubles and breakfast and dinner and charging up his homeless and now homed friend's electronic devices while he waits outside in return for being allowed to pet the dogs. This is titled, It's a Dirty Job, Ezekiel Kralen wrote. Email correspondence, May 26th to the 27th last year. Subject, he just won't shut up. And here it says 9-second video. I should probably have got the video so you could hear the sound to that. Date, May 26th, afternoon. Caption. This afternoon, a houseless fellow decided to park himself right across from Deke, who had shown up half an hour earlier and was now trying to have a peaceful rest. Instead, the intruder started to yammer conspiracy crap in a loud timbre, mostly about mind control and pedophiles. Of course, pedophiles, because he's in a gay neighborhood, don't you know, a choice spot for homophobes to terrorize our community whenever they get the chance. Sometimes I think this Christianized, neo-Nazi dogma is in Uncle Sam's DNA. Deke was about to nod off, even told the fool to shut up, but to no avail. So often, when one indigent finds a decent place to relax, another will appear to ruin the ambiance. But Deke's a solid sleeper and got his shut-eye regardless. The pups, on the other hand, were on guard to protect their master, though amazingly mellow, and therefore didn't get much rest until the offender quieted down, which he did a half-hour later, thank Glob. Subject. Disruption out front, another 9-second video. Date, May 26th, nighttime. Caption. Very disappointing that the fellow who wouldn't shut up appeared again to hang out for 3 more hours to resume his screeching conspiracy and pedophilia. When he quieted down for a while, I chose that window of opportunity to bring the pups a second meal. Deke was still zonked out, but not much longer, since a couple of friendly vagrants showed up. But then that screechy black lady made her appearance a bit later on. She was drunk and a pest, sat real close to the pups, disturbed their rest, upon which they started to bark like crazy. Deke told her to go away, but she lingered on for another 10 minutes, stirring up the shit. He even accused Flacco of biting her. She bit my ankle. She bit my ankle. Her disruption just served to make that crazy old dude rant even louder. None of this was Deke's fault, but he took this as a sign it's time to vamoose. Notice how calm the mutts are amid the cacophony. I stepped out to collect the sleeping bag, wish my scrappy trio a lovely night, and clean up the little mess left behind. Seeking grammar nerds for friendly commiseration, date May 27th. Watson wrote, Between you and me, I think Alden's, quote, humor is strained, heavy-footed, and unfunny. I replied, agreed, but I'm placing select cards on the table for a nobler purpose, a form of responsible manipulation in light of the Nazi presence on that list. Alden's like a child walking into flames while I toss a protective shield over him. I especially appreciate Mel Porter's participation in a similar fashion in recent months. In sum, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Subject. Deke showed up again late last night, though not that late. Date, May 27th, nighttime, 11:40 p.m. I happen to be fixing a late supper, seeing as I often get so absorbed in my writing and contemplative interludes I forget what time it is. I had just removed a stuffed pita slice from the microwave and scooped half a container of guacamole into the small bowl, one of those 4 frosty green bowls I love so much, left behind by Myrtle and Son on their hasty departure from Hotel California North. Right before he showed up, ow. Oh, I see, that's not a bracket. I-O-W. In other words, I was just about to sit down and enjoy my evening repast. Ow. I need you to watch the dogs for a half hour, he called up. Okay, I replied. Wait 1 minute. I need to put some things away. I then rummaged through the file cabinet I had painted blue and used for sundry kitchenware until I found the roll of plastic wrap stashed way in the back, because I rarely make use of it. As I attempted to pull a portion of the wrap through the opening, I dropped the container, whereby the roll slipped out and onto the floor. Long story short, I got the bowl of guac sealed and placed in the fridge with some difficulty. This, of course, delayed my stepping outside by some 20 seconds, so by the time I had donned sneakers, coat, and hat and was just about to exit with hand on doorknob, Deke bellowed, and this is all capital letters here. I'm not going to shout because the neighbor downstairs is probably trying to sleep. Also, Juanita's asleep right behind me here. Zeke Kralin, get out here, Zeke Kralin. I got to get going. You're making me angry. So I returned to the window with much annoyance, not just because he screamed late at night, but used my name, my full name, twice out of childish spite. Poked my head out to holler back, I was in the middle of something, chill out. Soon as I opened the gate, I addressed the fool. I'm not your bitch, Deke. I'm doing you another favor at the drop of a hat, yet you scream like the bitch you are. I was in the middle of fixing a late supper, so I had to stash my food back in the fridge first, and my foot hurts. Now stop the bullshit, or I'm marching right back upstairs. Sidebar. And being my special memo of the weird night, he also interrupted my listening to the show on live stream, which further disrupted my peace, but I saw no point in bringing that up too, because his ignorance knows no bounds. Funny thing is, I had planned to take my weekly shower at that time, but since the bathtub was unexpectedly grotty, Groaty, I don't know what that means, never happened before, I decided to forego that and fix dinner instead. Maybe he means grotty. That's a Britishism for disgusting. Had that change in plans not occurred, he would have been screaming up at my window for untold, all capital letters, minutes. All he said in reply was, never mind, and handed me the leashes, whereupon Flacco stood up with her paws upon my thighs, while Lucky pushed his noggin between my ankles for the sheer joy of seeing me again. Their master also left me with his cart and speaker, which I rolled over to the parking meter and sat down with the pups, unprepared, with not even a sheet of cardboard for their comfort, including mine. But that's secondary. As I sat there hugging and scratching the cherubs, I saw Deke by the corner commiserating with another vagrant, laughing and puffing on his bubble pipe. Yeah, right, he's really in a hurry, I emoted to myself. They both took off a few minutes later. I didn't like being out here without betting for the pups, especially since, with my Cajun punk, 30 minutes could stretch out to an hour or beyond, yet I also didn't like leaving his possessions unguarded. While deliberating on the matter, some tall lanky fellow with a flashy earring strolled by with friends, paused and stepped back to address me. Could you use a couple of dollars to feed your dogs? I turned him down, said, that's kind of you, but I'm fine. I'm just watching them for a homeless friend. He nodded his head and caught up with his amigos. To be continued.